calling to order the regular meeting of municipal council. It's Monday, March 25th, about 6:35 here at the South Edwardsburg Community Center. I bring regrets from Councillor Joe Martel, who is struggling with internet connection while on vacation, and Councillor Waddy Smale sends his regrets as well, as he's dealing with a personal matter tonight and won't be able to be here. The next item on our agenda is the approval of our agenda. Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh, I believe you have that item to bring forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Mr. Ward that the municipal council approves the agenda as presented.
Gonna be a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, no changes, no anything else. All right, then I'm gonna call the vote. All in favor? Unanimous. That's pretty simple. Disclosure of pecuniary interest, conflict of interest, and the general nature thereof, either of you or myself. I don't have any, no. All right, so delegations and presentations. We are on to Holly Howard and Sandra Lawrence for Spencerville United Church for the 2024 community grants and donations request. Come on up. 10 minutes, Holly.
Yeah. Good evening, I'm here on behalf of the Special United Church this time. We request for funding. I just want to give you a little bit of history of why I'm asking as a church this time, and it's some of the community things that we're doing. So we've sort of become a community hub for activities as in the last couple of years. We host the entire guiding community now. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights, we host Sparks, the Ambers, which are formerly the Brownies, and the guides and the pathfinders in various locations in the church. We have various rooms in the church that they can use. We also host the community choir in the winter months up until Christmas, and we host the village voices of all year round as they practice. They do take a little break in the summer. Once a month we have a friendship lunch, which is in conjunction with the food bank, and that's held on the third Thursday of the month. And of course, we mentioned it is there now every Thursday. Every Thursday and it has a home right inside the front of the church, which used to be the choir room. But it's got a home right there in the church. And of course, we have our worship service Sundays at 10:30, and we also allow for rentals of facilities to have parties, showers, weddings, receptions, etc. So, and funerals, I didn't mention funerals and funeral receptions as needed. So currently we're writing a grant that goes through the United Church of Canada. It's called Faith and Footsteps. So that's one grant that we have in the process, but we can't ask for the things that we're asking for from you guys there tonight. And the reason is because they're not considered green. They don't fall under the right criteria for that grant, so that's why I come from there for that, for these two things. Our church, believe it or not, only 60 amp service, so for that grant we're asking for 200 amp service. And bringing in 2 new stoves because of the stove that we have there is currently out of commission. That will allow for better catering opportunities, which will then allow us to further serve the community. We're used to be known for our catering opportunities. As a place things can cook real good. We've already replaced all of the windows to reduce our carbon footprint, and most of the lighting is now LED. And as I said, that grant is on its way. We're just waiting for some quotes, and that will be submitted. It's basically a $45,000 grant, and we have to input $15,000 to get that grant. So for this grant, we're asking for upgrades to our smoke detectors and some health alarms as supported by Health Security. And the reason I brought Sandra here is so she can explain if there's any questions for those grant for that. particular invoices. And the second thing we're asking for funding for is a defibrillator. The congregation that we serve is in G1, but also with the food bank being there and some of the receptions and other things that are going on in our building, we'd like to have a defibrillator present. And the food bank is on board with this and has actually arranged the quote for this. We haven't spent very little, will involve also training some of the members of the church and the food bank in the quote. Then I've included the quotes, so that should be on your screen. So one is $1,525.50 just for the smoke detectors and the sump pump. And then it's $2,434 for the defibrillators. So the total is $3,959.73. And all the items center around the safety of the church and the occupants who utilize it. Our usage stands at 5 to 7 days per week. The rentals making it more some weeks. It depends on who's using it. The success of our other grant you're applying for will allow for more additional rentals and much more catering to occur as such smoke detectors needed for the upgrade. Some pump alarm is also needed due to small floods which have occurred, as well as a few larger ones over the past few years. The defibrillator will really assist and comes with training, and that's basically it. Thank you very much for your consideration in this.
Yeah, thanks, Holly. The church in Spencerville certainly is a gathering place and being utilized for a lot of folks in Spencerville. So, yeah, it's good. Do you guys have any questions of?
No, pretty straightforward. Thank you. What you're asking for is defibrillator alarm system. Still can't believe you guys got 60 amp service.
You should try volunteering and cooking pancakes there and realizing that only cook so many girls on it once before you shut the house down. So yeah, not good.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I was cooking, so exactly what I need smoke on. I was exactly.
What date do we do the grants and donations? Do you know?
The chairs reviewed on April 8th and then final city council at the end of the month.
Yeah, so Monday, April 8th, and then to council, we review it on the 8th, and then it goes to final council.
Vote for council is April 29th,
Yeah, for the end, last Monday of April.
and then if everything is approved, then the checks get dispersed following month. Okay.
Every day that day. Solar eclipse.
Solar eclipse that day too.
Thanks.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so moving on, then we are going to consent agenda. So items listed under consent agenda are considered routine and will no longer require further discussion or enacted in one motion. The exception to this rule is that a member may request that one or more items be pulled for discussion and voted on separately. Does anyone have any items they'd like to see removed?
I didn't know.
Are you gonna speak for yourself?
Yeah,
I don't.
Chris is going to remove a couple for me. Item 5H, which is actually 9C. And 5K, which is actually item 9F. And 5L, which is item 9G. Okay, so you have those removed. And then you have a recommendation to bring forward. So we'll amend that. Is that the?
Through the chair, you can just strike those.
Yep.
And just not read that.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, so I can still say as presented, don't say as amended.
There is no need to amend it because through consent agenda, it's at that point in time that you can just remove or add as late.
so you're reading the consent agenda. Yep. So you just won't read that. Okay, stroke up, fire away.
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh, that municipal council receives and approves the following consent agenda items as presented. A, regular council, February 26, 2024. B, Public Library Board, January 23, 2024. C, Port Management Committee, February 20th, 2024. D, Committee of the Whole, Community Development, March 4th, 2024. E, Committee of the Whole, Administration and Operations, March 11th, 2024. F, 2023 Prescott Annual Water Report. G, 2023 Stormwater Management Annual Report. I guess I just go to here, so I, Spencerville Lagoon Splitter Box Project. J, Spencerville Lagoon Mag Meter Installation Project.
All right, call the question then on the consent agenda, all in favor? All right, let me see if I can catch up. It should be on 9C then, correct? Right?
Doing your business horizon.
So 9C, which is disposal of surplus goods, fire department, Councilor Ward, do you have that?
Yep, moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh, that municipal council, one, declare the Draeger UCF 7000 thermal imaging camera, Bullard T3 Max thermal imaging camera, and 15 sets of firefighting bunker gear as surplus to the needs of the township. And two, authorize staff to dispose of the goods by donating all items to the firefighters of their borders, as recommended by the Committee of the Whole of Minute Operations.
Thank you very much. Questions? You guys don't have any questions? I just had one. Firefighter with awards. Do these items that are paid for by Edwardsburg carbon tax dollars stay in Canada, or are they going to places like all around the world?
Through the mayor, I can't say with 100% certainty that they will remain in Canada, but I do believe that the majority of them would remain either in Canada or North America.
Okay, that's just the question I wanted to ask. I missed it last time. You just ruffle feathers. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. No, any other comments?
No, we're good.
Okay, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Okay, then we'll move on to. We are on H, I believe. 9F. Oh, sorry, 9F. Yeah, that's right. It's F, and that's my fault. 9F and then 9, right? And Councilor Ward, do you have?
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh, that municipal council receives and awards the supply of dust suppressant tender EC-PW-24-02 to Dali Dust Control Limited at the unit rate of 0.367 cents per liter, dollars per liter, for 210,000 liters to a maximum of 77,077 or $70 plus non-rebatable HST as recommended by the Committee of the Whole Administration and Operations.
Questions?
Nope.
No, and just to staff, this one's just like ever so slightly over budget, is that the?
Through the mayor, I want to say off the top that it's about 35, I believe 3,500 or so above the budget. There naturally will be some slight latitude. That's one of the reasons why they put that maximum of 77. There may be the potential to have a little bit less to come in right on budget. So
It's up to the max of, right?
but that is to a max.
Okay.
One thing with the dust suppressant, that product is applied to all the gravel roads within the township each year versus the crushed rock is probably about let's say a third of the gravel roads on that maintenance cycle.
Okay, all right, good, thank you. Questions, comments? Sure. Question, all in favor? Okay, now we can move on to G, and I think Councilor Ward, you have that one too.
I do, moved by myself and seconded by Councilor was gonna say Waddy Snail.
Councilor Waddy.
But Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh, that happens, I guess. The municipal council award the supply of crushed rock tender EC-PW 24-01 to G Tackleberry and Sons for approximately 7,500 tons at the unit price of $13.94 metric ton, to a maximum of $104,550 plus non-rebated HST as recommended by the Committee of the Whole and Admin Operations.
Questions, comments?
Nope.
Chris, no. Again, same sort of thing, just a little bit over.
Through the mayor, I believe this one is just slightly under what we had budgeted.
Yep. And my other next question is, and there's a lot being made of this, and I'm just dropping this on you right now, but and if you don't know, that's totally fine. And I'm just interested to see if had we have asked for this tender after April 1st, whether we would be getting the same quote back on it, because with carbon tax going up 20%, do we know the implications of that on tenders like this?
Through the mayor, I certainly do not, and I would anticipate that that would impact the unit price and will likely be higher.
I thought and the reason that I asked for this one and for that is because I was wondering about further on when we're doing our asphalt ones, because it will or potentially has a considerable effect to the cost of our asphalt prices. So worthwhile noting. Questions, comments? None, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Now it's on each, right? Yeah. All right, no, you're up again, Chris.
Good, I'm on pager. What a minute. All right, moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh. Do I read the whole thing? Or just read the be it resolved essentially. Now therefore be it resolved that the municipal council of the corporation of the township of Edmundsbury Cardinal authorize an upset contribution of $5,100 to fund a 3-month extension to the digital service squad coordinator position while staff work with the town of Prescott and Augusta Township to find solutions to continue this support for local businesses. And further, the municipal council and the corporation of the township of Edmundsbury Cardinal supports the town of Prescott's resolution number 32-2024 to support the continuation of provincial funding for the Digital Main Street program. And further, that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to MPP Steve Clark, the town of Prescott and Augusta Township.
Awesome, thank you, Chris. So, all right, so continue the good work for a couple of months that the digital service squad has done all through COVID, and see if we can find a way, hopefully in the budget tomorrow, that there is the provincial budget tomorrow, that there is some funding for things like Digital Main Street to continue. So thank you, and hope that comes out. Comments, questions? I just noticed today that on our social media, it wasn't our social media, but it was the Digital Service Squad social media, that they had just done another person from Edwardsburg Cardinals, like digital footprint. It's not up and running yet, but it's the Bridgewater's End, I think is the name of the one that they've just completed. So still going, still being utilized, not maybe to the extent that it was, but certainly being utilized. So okay, comments, questions, and all?
No, I mean, I think to your point, I mean, it's a service that's been around for a few years now, and it's, it gets positive reviews from the people who've used it, and I think it's an important one, and it's too bad that it's possible to come to an end, and hopefully they can find a way to refund it.
Well said. Anything, Steve? No?
No,
Okay, I'll call
hopefully we do fine.
Call the question then, all in favor? Survives for a couple of months. Tax Support of the tax increase for the volunteer firefighters. Council Ward, you got that one too?
Tax increase might be the one.
Tax increase might be first.
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh. Now be it resolved that the municipal council of the township of Edwardsburg Cardinal call upon the government of Canada to support Bill C-310 and enact amendments to subsection 118-06(2) and 118.07(2) of the Income Tax Act in order to increase the amount of the tax credits for volunteer firefighting and search and rescue volunteer services from $1,000 to $3,000 for any member that has completed between 0 and 199 hours of volunteer services in a calendar year. And further that the municipal council of the township of Edwardsburg Cardinal supports Bonneville Township's resolution number 15, calling upon the government of Canada to support Bill C-310 and enact amendments in subsection 118.06(2) and 118.07(2) of the Income Tax Act in order to increase the amount of tax credits for volunteer firefighting and search and rescue volunteer services from $3,000 to $10,000.
Thank you, sir. All right. Certainly, well, I will ask for comments before I begin.
Sure. So, I mean, I was happy I saw this in a correspondence a while back, and I wanted to bring it forward because I think it was important. We have, in our township, almost 100%, if you will, volunteer firefighters group, and they do a great job, and they should, they do a lot of sacrifice of their own personal time, and I think they should be, rewarded fairly for that, and I think this helps to contribute to that. So, all in favor for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Steve?
Yeah, no, I'm more excited about reducing the 200 hours than 30%. I don't think a lot of them makes it, so I'm glad that our CEO brought forward reducing the hours to 200 to put that through. That's the CEO's idea, by the way.
Yeah.
Well done.
I certainly personally believe that their entire honorarium should be tax free, but I know that's,
Well, sheriff's was too.
yeah, well, anyways, that's a different discussion.
Um,
Further comments? No, I think it's well deserved, so support for 310, I call the question then, all in favor?
I
Steve, I think you finally get to read one. Update to the council chambers audio visual system, item 9J.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, moved by myself and seconded by Council Ward, Municipality Council, one award Council Chambers audio visual system upgrade contract to CCOM Technology and Solutions in the amount of $93,914.30 plus additional 5% contingency of $4,695.72. Cost be funded by the combination of Modernization Reserve Fund and the COVID Safety Restart Fund. And 2, purchase the eScribe webcasting plus mode for $13,390 and funded by the COVID Safe Restart Fund. And future years cost of $12,040 funded by the Administration IT Service 17-5323. And authorize the clerk and the CEO to execute all necessary documents to complete the audiovisual system project.
Thank you, the mayor. All right, comments, questions?
Pretty straightforward in that one too.
Yeah, no, we had a good broad discussion about it last time. It's time to get into the right, let's say century, at least at this point in time. I think it's a good effort, and I think it's going to really help us out for sure. You listen to some of our videos, for instance, and they're not that clear, so let's get better at that.
No, that is for sure. My only question is, so for the quote that we originally got, this is, so the 7,000, there was 7,000 more included for the button access.
Through the chair, it was an add-on feature, it was the only group that offered that feature based on the type of money that they were providing.
Yep.
But after, it was coincidence in timing, like 2 days after our operations meeting, I had conference calls with both companies, and that's when we put two and two together based on current software upgrades that Eastside is going through. It makes it so that way the API is no longer feasible at this point in time for the voting mechanism within the mic system. So until Eastside gets all their upgrades done, which they're doing back-end upgrades to make the rest of the system more user-friendly, they're not gonna focus on minor things like this. So until that happens, there's no point in us paying that additional fee.
Mhm.
And then down the road, if council is interested in it and Eastside has it up and running again, we can explore it.
Okay, so the hardware is still exactly the same?
The hardware will be the same, and that way, if it comes that Eastside has updated their APIs and finished their upgrade systems on the back end, these mics will be capable of that.
Right, that was more my concern, is that we weren't downgrading by that, so the actual price difference is for the software, not for the actual hardware.
So the change, that's correct. We had the option of downgrading the hardware as well, but it didn't make a lot of sense.
No, I think that makes sense, because ultimately, if the feature is available, we want it, right? Yeah, for sure, okay, you guys had already had the chance, right? I think this just, can't wait to actually try this stuff, looking so forward to being able to. Not do it this way, so, well, and have council chambers back, this is good. Comments, questions, further? Hearing none, I'll call the question, then all in favor?
Council chamber, not. There
We can do it just like this if we have to. Right, all right, now another fun one. We are on K, I think, which is the blue box, say that twice quick. Blue box transition service optic, Councilor Ward.
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh. The municipal council notifies Circular Materials that the township will be opting out of providing blue box service during the transition period. And 2, enter into an agreement with Circular Materials contractor to provide continued collection of non-eligible sources during the transition period, as recommended by the Committee of the Whole, Administration and Operations.
Thank you very much. All right, do you want to speak to this at all? Just to make it more confusing, or?
I think I can comfortably say that over the next 6 months, we're going to hear a lot more with respect to the transitioning and the number of items that need to go into play. But I guess the long and short with this particular stage of opting in or opting out, if we decided to opt in during that transition period, which is simply February 2025 until December 31st, 2025. We would actually be assuming what I would say is more risk and liability with respect to the collection of blue box material, because at that particular time, once you're in that transition period, there are penalties associated with levels of contamination within that collection stream. So we would potentially be on the hook for anything more than, I believe it is 4% contamination with respect to our collection process. We'd likely need to make arrangements with a specified depot where the blue box material would go to be sorted, and I would say, for lack of a better word, assessed for contamination. So with that, and there is a scope of or statement of work agreement that would have to be entered into with Circular Materials with respect to outlining all of the duties and responsibilities. It's just it may be different if we were actually collecting curbside solid waste in recycling material in-house in that regard, but with us contracting out, it just sort of makes some sense for that, really for that transition to be more third party, because I anticipate that we need to really focus in on the education piece that of what's going to change, with the potential that you could have two trucks on the route during that same day, which is the best case potentially, versus a day where you're putting out your blue box material in a different day where solid waste is collected. So I think that just given our capacity, we're much better off to be focusing on the education piece and determining some options for those ineligible sources. And one of those, with respect to ineligible sources, maybe looking next month to bring looking for a resolution that actually is pushing the province to incorporate those ineligible sources into the collection stream. So I think that's probably an initial first step, but there's a fair bit of work to do, because, for instance, our municipal office is an ineligible source. So so there's a number of those nuances that we have to work through, and we still will, but I think sort of pushing to have those areas incorporated with the issue.
Okay.
Hopefully I didn't confuse it.
No, not at all, actually. No, that was well said.
Yeah, no, I hadn't caught on last time was that you could actually have a garbage day on a different day than your recycling day would be as well, which, you know, I mean, I think it's already gonna be quite busy in our office probably as soon as this goes live, because there's gonna be a lot of confusion around our residents already, and so, yeah, the simplest path would be the death path, obviously here, so we'll see what happens over the next coming months, but it's you know, I totally agree with when we had the conversation about why we're opting out, and but it could be a really few months there as people get used to the new services and then you're dealt with delivered, I should say. So.
No, we were through it last time pretty heavy. It's, we have a lot, I think, I agree with our CEO. I think there's more liability than there's assets for that one, so let's just get rid of that 4%. It's just not worth it.
Can certainly say we saw the transition changing in Brockville. The education portion of it is, you know, that a lot of it wasn't picked up. It was left on the curb because there were ineligible items in the bin.
Yeah, and they'll leave it.
And they won't touch it, they won't even touch the bin, they just leave it in the bin. So depending upon how this company chooses to deal with that potentiality, if the service is going to be different, we may need to be ready for that portion of it as well, make sure that people only have eligible items in there. I know in Brockville, like a pizza container was no longer, pizza box was no longer allowed because of any oil that had seeped into the cardboard or anything like that. So they were rejecting entire loads just because there was a pizza box.
Yeah, I think through the mayor, I think part of the problem with this entire transition full producer responsibility is that they didn't focus enough on that education piece with respect to the simple, like those restaurants and those food service providers, with respect to, you know, simply ensuring that there is a layer in there before the pizza goes in, so there isn't the oils and there isn't the grease, making that, you know, an eligible product where now it's ineligible.
Right.
So
yeah. And it's, well, anyways, and the one thing that I noticed, certainly, being exposed to it there, and it certainly was a discussion among a lot of people, is that it's great that it's shifting the responsibility, but during those rejections, what happened was a lot of folks still weren't sure why it got rejected. So what they did was they took the blue box inside, they dumped everything in the blue box in a garbage bag, tied the garbage bag up, and it went to the curb next week as garbage instead of recycle. And we certainly don't want recycle things that are eligible to go into recycle to do that. So
Agreed, I see that it will be very challenging, right, because I certainly understand in some respects from a resident perspective that not knowing why, right? The quick or the simple answer is we put it in for solid waste collection, but that goes against the entire purpose and premise of what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
But
Well, we've worked so hard and for so long to try to get folks, to understand what is recyclable, what isn't, and I think residents are making a fantastic effort to do that, even with things like the food cycler and stuff, they're taking it to the next step to do green. I just hate to see us take that step backwards, so. Okay, good enough. See how she goes. This is the first part, right? It's been a long time coming. Like reasonably, I mean, we talked about it lots in the last one too, so.
yes, and part of it is that we've been trying to monitor some of that transition and seeing some of the potential headaches that have been encountered. But now it is rapidly approaching, and I don't believe that a number of those glitches or pinch points have actually been solved. So
We're last, right? This is the last opt-in?
we
Or opt-out.
are one of the ones in year 3, which is the final year of
Final
that
year.
transition.
Okay, all right, well, it'll be what it'll be, really. That's what we can do. This is the stage we have to go to, and this takes us and puts it on circular still, right? They're gonna do the job for us.
Correct, so through the transition period, circular materials, probably within the next month or so, will issue a tender for contract services for those municipalities that have opted out during that transition period. And then starting January 2026, they'll be issuing probably mid 2025, another tender for services starting in 2026.
Okay, last chance, boss. Anything? No, good, then I'm gonna call the question, all in favor? Last second, all right, Steve, Mr. Deputy Mayor, we are on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, moved by myself. And seconded by Council Ward, Municipal Council entering a 30-year renewal support and service agreement with Schneider Electric and authorize staff to execute this agreement.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions of staff before
I do, well, yeah, I have, I guess, one question at least, well, actually, one statement at least, I guess. The 3-year contract, by the end of the 3 years, we're up about 20%, obviously, so. And I mean, I know we've used these guys for a while, and they're really good, but I think, we'll have to see what happens if we're seeing another 20% for 3 years after that. It might be an interesting conversation that we want to look at, make sure the sole source is getting us our value. But then the question that I had more was, so I know there's a few options of services we had when I read through this, and we're picking sort of one it's got some extras on it. Do we know we're getting the value of those extras? I think one of them was purchasing agreement, and one was extra service calls and things like that. Sorry, you got an extra service?
I don't really give you the exact amount, but yes, what the service agreement does is it gives us discounts for hardware and upgrades. So when we do equipment upgrades for equipment, there's a discount price off the amount, and that's going to be dependent on what the equipment is. We also have part of that agreement is guaranteed spare parts, so we get on spare parts and there's availability.
Oh, it also covers
that we have on the life cycle on those parts. So what I like with this agreement is it gives security to our water sewer systems, because this is where the motherboard of our system. So if it goes down, we don't have a
That's a hard day.
so it is expensive, but it is worth it. With the company, they are accessing sale to
to try to transition possibly to a company that are very, very familiar with their systems, with troubleshooting and repair it. And since I've been here 18 years, we've always had to.
It was cleared up so many things. It's fantastic.
Maybe if I can just add to that. One of the other nice bonuses with respect to this is that in Gradion, it's just Snyder Electric or what I'm still, I'm dating myself a little bit. I go back to Foxborough with that original system, but the same with Greenfield Global, that they utilize the system. It is a specialized system, but from that perspective, it's very advantageous because if the SCADA goes down, then basically in order to operate the system, you would probably be committing two operators around the clock, just simply taking readings off of the analyzers, because certainly there's a frequency required for the recordings, probably average anywhere from a minute to 5 minute intervals. So, but certainly fair enough with respect to that. We will certainly indicate back to Snyder to make sure that the pencil is sharpened when it comes to these items. I would say that the staff and the chief water sewer operator have certainly had some follow-up conversations with respect to Snyder and making sure that this is fairly tight agreement.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the answer and the follow-up to know that it does go down where, well, not convenient, we're not down in the chairs. That's actually.
No, it's good. It's fantastic. Yep. And
No, I'm not even gonna touch that one. It's too important for us. How long have you had Snyder's? How long have you been with the mayor? How long have we had these guys for our support group?
I can't give you the exact year. I think it was 2007, and it was Foxborough, and then now Snyder Electric in 2014. So, many of the members were the same individuals that transitioned from Foxborough to Snyder.
We would probably be back in the late 90s.
Yeah. And I love the 24 hours and across North America. So obviously they're a large company. They're gonna be here for years to come, so.
Yes, they are.
I'm not going to. Not even gonna buck the price on this one, it's too important.
so. All right, we've exhausted. Call the question. All in favor? On disagreement. Oh, so deputy mayor, it is 9M, which is the 2024 road program for prevention of services.
Oh. It is? Oh, yes.
It is.
Moved by myself and second by Mr. Ward, Municipal Council award the professional service for 2024 road program to Eastern Engineer Group to an upset limit of $84,750 plus non-rebated HST, direct staff to execute any required documents. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, deputy mayor. All right, so. Discussion?
I guess so, a little bit, but just minor, but, I mean, it looks obviously like Safe Roads is the better price, never used them before, I get that, and, so, I think we have an important year, to worry about the $7,000-8,000 difference. I think we should pull somebody we know for sure, but it wouldn't be a bad idea at some point to get some experience with them, so hopefully they keep, putting on our tenders over in the future, so.
Staff have anything to add to it, or are you good?
Mr. Mayor, certainly, again, we did evaluate all three submissions. I think one of the concerns with respect to Safe Roads engineering was with respect to the one amendment to the documents that specify the estimated number of inspection hours to be 500. And their submission clearly was substantially under, with only listing 188, which, I'm glad that staff, upon the evaluation, noticed that, and it certainly brings it, much closer in comparison, so to us, that's a bit of a red flag, and also the other part with such a big program. I think, having an engineering firm that we had worked with, in the past, that has provided, good quality service is utmost importance in this year, but certainly for a smaller project, we certainly would look to, extend it on those items.
Good, yeah, so we're entirely comfortable with Eastern Engine that they'll have.
So through the mayor, we have used Eastern. It's been a couple of years since we've used them, but they were the firm with Walker Street, and overall they did the contracted and inspection services. We were pleased with the work that they did, and a number of those employees were listed within that submission. So there is a comfort level there.
I can certainly say, being around for both of those, the Highway 2 project and Jewel, I mean, there's a huge discrepancy in the dollar values here, but I don't, the quality of work that Jewel did, at least from my perspective and watching, the service that, I think Jewel was the one there, that fantastic work, right? So.
I think through the mayor, certainly that was echoed within our discussions when we were reviewing and evaluating that end of it. Staff were very, very pleased with the work that Jewel did with respect to that Mineral project. Not going to defend it, but I think a combination of Jewel Engineering and the quality of their work, but also the contractor that was awarded that work actually showed up produced at as well. Unfortunately, with Walker Street, we did have some issues with a much longer delay in start time, which pushed that project a little bit. So in fairness with Eastern in that regard. No deal.
Ultimately, that's why you want the administrator, right? To make sure.
Correct.
That they keep that.
Correct.
It's just such a discrepancy, you can't go with one that's that.
No, it's too bad.
Yeah.
That's, we did see Eric and Butch for Jules for sure. And we all have to realize, just because the lowest tender comes in, sometimes we have to make a decision that,
Yeah, this one was
the lowest tender is not necessarily going to get it, as they say, and it's well worth noting that you people do have experience with Eastern and Jules. And it means a lot of the credibility, especially when they're doing this kind of work. You want to say something here?
Don't for the share, my personal experience with Walker Street and with Young too, we were very pleased with both engineering firms and we'll go with whatever recommendation passes.
No, good call. Good call.
All right,
Good.
all right, so it's been moved and seconded. If there's any further, no, then I'll call the question then, wording the 10 weeks to end, so all in favor? Port of Johnstown budget, Deputy Mayor.
Geez, I think I got that too. Hi, moved by myself and seconded by Council Ward that Municipal Council approves the Port of Johnstown 2024 operation revenue expense budget as presented. Number 2, approves the Port of Johnstown 2024 capital budget with the revised budget attached, which removes the capital project item number 6, Port of Johnstown warehouse land development of $750,000 to reduce the overall total capital budget from $10,852,990 to $10,102,990. And 3, receive the 2025-2029 future capital 5-year forecast as presented, as recommended by the Port Management Committee.
Comments, questions?
Well, we had lots of discussion during the port meeting and I think we came up with a pretty good plan here, so. Nothing more to say to that, I don't think.
I just for the record, anything over the 75,000 does come back to council, is that right? On this capital budget approval
So.
that we're approving?
Through the mayor, anything over 75,000 would return to the Port Management Committee. Through the terms of reference, they've been delegated that so long as it's within budget. If it's outside of budget, then it would require return to council.
Okay, so it goes to it goes to committee. It goes to committee, and then of course the committee goes to council to be approved, or no?
No.
Okay, so it still goes to committee, we're part. I'm good.
So the Port Management Committee is the approval authority for budget.
Right, so let's get that.
Once the
Yeah.
once the budget has been approved back council.
Okay, I get that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I knew, I got it. Yeah.
Yep, certainly. You know, a huge amount of investment going back in again, this year, the potential to be, you know, if, there is a business case to be made, I'm sure everyone would happily add that 750 back in. If it was needed, if there was a business case that needed to be made for more lay down area, if we stumbled upon so much business, that it had to be done, we could be looking at $11 million potentially there, this year. So, you know, certainly putting a lot of money back in. It's a good solid budget. It'll get that grain dryer, it'll get more wet storage and hopefully, and the grain dryer, sorry, and the wet storage bins and hopefully be installed for that September wet corn harvest. And we'll realize on, you know, some higher than expected or anticipated revenue. So I think certainly a great investment back in and, you know, looking forward to another busy year there. So, did you? Sorry, did I cut you off or did you already go?
No, he does, yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay, all right. So nothing further? No, don't think so. Then I'll call the question. All in favor? Aye. We are on to resolution of support, so keeping energy costs down and Councilor Ward, I believe you have that.
I have this one.
Yep, it's the one.
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh. Whereas access to natural gas is vital to residents and businesses in our community, and affordability and reliability, and is a driver of economic development for the province of Ontario. And whereas expanding the natural gas access to communities will help keep the cost of energy low for families, businesses, and farmers, while at the same time improving economic development, housing, creating thousands of new jobs. And whereas the Ontario Energy Board, OEB, issued a split decision which would increase the upfront cost to consumers of installing natural gas connections for new homes and small businesses, and could increase the cost of new homes in the province by tens of thousands of dollars, particularly in rural areas, which would limit customer heating choices and energy reliability in communities such as the township of Edwardsburg, Cardinal. And whereas the government's Keeping Energy Costs Down Act 2024 would reverse the OEB's decision and ensure that the province can build new homes and that all Ontario families and businesses can continue to be reliable and affordable, can continue to access reliable and affordable energy when it is needed. And whereas the proposed legislation would maintain the existing treatment of gas transmission projects that are critical to the province's economic growth by ensuring new customers do not have to incur upfront financial contributions, and update the OEB's leave to construct process to respond to concerns raised by municipalities and around supporting critical housing projects and local economic development initiatives. Now therefore be it resolved that the municipal council of the corporation of the Township of Edwardsbury, Hardwick believes that natural gas must continue to play an integral role in meeting the energy needs of Ontario. 2, calls upon the provincial political parties to support natural gas expansion to communities in Ontario, which will keep costs down for families and businesses. 3, supports the Ontario government's proposed legislation to maintain energy affordability and access via the Keeping Energy Costs Down Act. 4, supports the work Government of Ontario has done to date, including the natural gas expansion program and electrification and energy transition panels call for clear policy on the role of natural gas to secure access to affordable energy, and further that this resolution be circulated to the President of the AMO, Colin Best, Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Honorable Todd Smith, the Minister of Energy, MPP Steve Clark, Member of Provincial Parliament for Daisy Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Vito Lakes, and all regional municipalities as significant actors to ensure the need for natural gas in Ontario be a part of a measured approach towards the energy transition.
Long, but well worth reading, so, okay, comments. Do you guys have comments on this? Nobody to talk about.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
See.
Okay, so. Yeah, so I asked for this to be brought forward to show our support for gas line expansion. You know, we all believe in greener Ontario and making things greener, but I think we're all realistic in the fact that electrification, we're not there yet. And we can't build nuclear reactors overnight to get us there. We can't build small modular reactors overnight. It's going to take a decade, 2 decades to get there. And the OEB decision basically states that no longer will you be allowed 40 years to spread out the costs of every new home that was connected. Every new home would have to bear the upfront cost to connect that. Every farm that wants to put in a natural gas grain dryer to dry their own grain would have to bear the entire cost of that pipe coming to their house, basically making it unmanageable. And certainly a heat pump isn't going to be able to dry grain. So we may get there in 10 or 20 years with electrifying the province. I think it's a great goal to work towards. But this bill, the Keeping Energy Costs Down, allows us to address an affordability crisis. It allows us to address a housing crisis. It certainly helps keep investment coming into Eastern Ontario without low cost natural gas in Eastern Ontario. We certainly are going to be not thriving like Western Ontario. So really important piece of legislation coming through. Another piece that's added into this, we certainly witnessed this with the grain dryer project at the port. Anything over $2 million needed to go back to OEB for approval. Part of the new act is between $2 and $10 million with indigenous consultation. That $10 million number will be the new threshold. So it certainly puts it the affordability of starting new homes back at the forefront. So wanted to bring this forward, wanted to get it supported, and certainly wanted to show Minister Smith and the rest of Ontario that we believe that natural gas along with electrification is the pathway forward. So you guys, any comments?
I'd like to just add on, hopefully with this resolution that we're putting forward here tonight, that Minister Smith will get it, that we need our expansion for Johnstown at the village of Spencerville and from Johnstown, Cardinal McClough section that we've been fighting for 15 years. So
Yeah,
hopefully this will put us over the hump.
Before us, both Mayor Sayu and Mayor Valenta in Augusta, and I know you and I and Mayor Shaver have done those conversations at both Roma and Emo. We've done 3 of them ourselves already on this exact discussion and the need for it in our area, right? So You know, propane's not the way. You know, we need to expand that access to low cost natural gas, so. let's
Fingers
hope-
crossed.
let's hope that they recognize that we're doing, so, all right, so. I will call the question then, all in favor?
Absolutely. Thank you, well done. So I get that. Oh, shit.
All right, correspondence, and Councilor Ward, you have correspondence.
Yes, I do. Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh. The municipal council receives the correspondence listings for the following dates as previously circulated. March 3rd, 2024, March 6th, 2024, March 19th, 2024.
All right, thank you. We all know what correspondence is. Any questions or comments on correspondence at all? Steve?
Nope,
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I had one more thing. It wasn't more of just a comment, but it's just good to see, you know, we're getting newsletters from the FPC, for instance, which is the Spencerville business community. And they're sending us information about all the events that are going on, and I just think that that's a really nice thing to see in our correspondence, because it gets awareness to us as well as to, you know, we read the agendas, and I hope they continue to practice.
Yeah, I agree. It's great. It is great. All like if you read through your correspondence, it's fantastic to get, and it's nice to pick off some of those things and look for them when they're sharing them on their social. So that share them, get shared. Anything? No. All right. Good. I'll call the question on receiving correspondence. All in favor? Okay, municipal disbursements and Deputy Mayor, you have that.
moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Ward that municipal council receives the payment municipal invoices circulated and dated this fall. Recorded date February 26, 2024 -035 $99,290.58. Recorded date February 28th, 2024 -036 $148,684.37. Recorded dated March 18th, 2024 -041 $764,164.12. Reported date March 21st, 2024 -042. The amount of $311,183.09. Reported dated March 21st, 2024 -043. $220,994.64 for a total of $1,544,316.80.
Perfect, thank you. Bills paid, receiving the invoices, questions on disbursements or increases.
Nope.
Nothing. Not a question. I see that there are $350,000 insurance bid went out, so that's great, yes. Anyways, we knew that was happening. The one thing I was gonna ask about, truck 6, I guess, had about $14,000 in repairs. That is truck 6. Is that the one we're replacing, or is that the one that's the new one that was replaced already? So I lost track there.
It's there.
Okay.
Truck 6.
Yeah.
Truck 6, through the mayor, truck 6 is not the unit that we are.
We're good? Yeah, no, I just saw that and I thought, I know it's coming soon. I thought about actually put $14,000 into that makes in his last days. That's good. Okay. And I had nothing else.
Nothing else? Okay. Steve, nothing?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bylaws. And the 12A, the tax rate, Councilor Ward, you have that.
Okay, yep. Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to provide for the adoption of tax rates and provide for penalty and interest in default payment thereof for 2024, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
First and second reading on the adoption of our tax rates. For penalty, all right, so call the question on first and second reading, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, proceed to third, okay,
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh, that a bylaw to provide for the adoption of tax rates and to provide for penalty and interest in default of payment thereof for 2024 be now read a third and final time, finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2024-1.
passing the full tax bylaw, all right, questions, comments, anything, anyone? Nope. Received, anything in your notes there? I don't think. So, good, yep, Steve, you good? Yep. Great, then I'm going to call the question, all in favor? Good. Pretty simple. All right, road widening, deputy mayor, you have that one, part, Lockhart, 21 concession 7 Miller Road.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, moved by myself, seconded by Mr. Ward, that the move be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to authorize acceptance of a certain deed of land and to assume and dedicate the said land for road widening purpose in the township of Riversford, Cardinal. This shall constitute the first and second reading thereof.
All right, first and second reading. For acceptance of the certainty, is this the one we were clearing up? That we were cleaning up?
This is a new one.
Yes,
The previous one was done in January. This is another housekeeping matter, very similar, where the severance is done. Property is being sold throughout the whole process of going to the registry office. They determined, through the, plans, sorry, my language there. That one was identified eons ago.
Yep.
Part two is on the diagram I provided.
yes,
And it's barely noticeable, but the two smaller parcels, they're the ones being sold. And right to the left of it, going upwards on Miller, is the part two that'll be dedicated.
good. Questions in regard?
Well, my only question I had was, a lot more details on this essentially, so yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that gives you what you needed.
Yeah, I remember.
Yep, are you good?
Yeah.
All right, so then I can call it, you don't have to be, but it's first and second reading, so. But I'll call the question first and second. All in favor? Okay, go through.
That the bylaw to, moved by myself and second by Council Ward, that the bylaw to authorize an acceptance of certain deed of land and to assume and dedicate said land for road winding purposes in the township of Edwardsburg, Cardinal. We now read a third and final time. Finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2024-15.
All right, third reading. I don't know if you. Nope. Nope, everybody's good. I'll call the question, then all in favor.
Aye.
Okay, so let's move on then. Oh no, we still have one more. 12, sorry, the update the bylaw to designate overall responsibility operators to water and wastewater systems that we may.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Mr. Ward that the mover be granted leave to introduce the bylaw to the overall responsible operators of water and wastewater systems of the township of Riversford, Cardinal, and shall constitute the first and second reading thereof.
Yep, all right, first and second reading. Comments, questions, no, guys?
I think it seemed pretty straightforward to be honest, so just changing names, I guess, on this, right?
So, through the mayor, with the retirement of Gord Shaw, we're just basically simply removing Gord off as the second alternate. We're required to list an overall responsible operator and an alternate, so it's just simply removing
The second alternate is disappearing.
the second alternate is
First and second. So further questions? Nope. Nope. Okay, all in favor? Third reading.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Mr. Ward that the bylaw designate to overall responsible operators for water and wastewater system in the township of Richford Cardinal be now read a third and final time and finally passed, signed, and sealed, number 2024-16.
Yep, alright, so basically removing, as the CAO said, removing Gord as the second alternate. Do we have sort of an intention to putting a second alternate back, like somebody back in there, or?
Through the mayor, not in the immediate, but certainly something that we'll have some discussions on with respect to I believe an intention appointing a second alternate.
And does that, just excuse my ignorance on how you become a second alternate? Is it your classification that gets you there? Is it your mix of classification and experience? What gets you there?
Through the mayor, it would be your classifications. You would be required to hold the license equivalent of the particular system or systems in this particular instance, and basically what you the overall responsible operator is basically the resource for the operator in charge should an event occur that they are available sort of on that 24/7 notice to either assist or have that ability. I believe within an hour, within a 2-hour response, within a 2-hour response. Maybe I may just refer over to the chief water sewer operator, who may be able to elaborate a little further before I'm a little educated with respect to that.
CEO, it's been very active with everything. Yeah, it's just overall, you have to have the same license for your system. So if you have a class 2 system, you have class 2. And you have to achieve certain amount of operational hours, experience, and also education to achieve that. And the so my availability or Aaron Campbell as the assistant to find my available as the local law, we're going to have to provide those resources to either operate the one.
And excuse my ignorance, we are a class 2 or a class 3?
It's class 2 and class 1. So class 1. So you have to have at least the same classification of your system, and you can achieve one license higher than what your system wants.
Okay, so we can have class 3s, but we won't have any class 4s unless they come to us as class 4s?
You won't, you can only achieve the maximum with one license above your system.
Okay.
You can have a class 4, but your hours are actually going to be based on your system. So your training hours, your renewal for your license, are based on your system class.
Okay, yeah, that's good. And nope, and nope. I think we're this group is always, the reports are always clear. We have the utmost confidence in you guys, Eric. I think you know that, and Aaron as well. I think Aaron's always in any of the meetings that I've been in, ultra professional and knows his stuff too. Very confident. Call the question then on third reading, guys. All in favor? There's an hope. You didn't want to hand over, right? All right, CAO's admin update. Do you want to bring that forward, Councillor Ward, and then we'll let the CAO speak to it? Absolutely.
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh that municipal council receives the CAO's administrative report as presented.
Okay, it's on the floor. CAO, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 1 is with respect to the municipal office, slight modification. Finance department helped me out in this regard. We will, during the lunch hour, we will be splitting some shifts and rotating around so that we are not closed.
We're just going to take a 5-minute pause. Steve needs to get up for a second. Thanks. Okay. All right, we're back. CAO, you're finished your report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, with March 28th being the, last day that we're open before the due date for taxes, we will not be closed during that lunch hour. We will rotate a few staff, to ensure that we have the luncheon, everybody can participate in the luncheon at some way, shape or form, but we will be open to the public, on that day. So I'm glad that, the finance department picked up on my error, so, all is good. With respect to the official plan amendment number 2, the time has elapsed with no repeal, so that, official plan number 2 is now in full, force and effect. And it's, with respect to our, municipal, free, tree day, once again, partnering with Safe Nation, and, the link is included in the admin, report, and if the residents are interested in, submitting a form to receive a few, free trees, then, the link is available there. With respect to our strategic plan, on April 2nd, we will have 2 focus groups, one at 3 p.m. and a second focus group at 4 p.m. before we go to a sort of a drop-in open house session from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So the focus groups will consist of some industrial partners, some of the small businesses, agricultural sector. So we have a good diverse group to participate in that focus group. With respect to bylaw, with the internal tax bills heading out, just a reminder for now that we're into that season, about clean yards and our annual renewals for dog tags and licensing. With respect to treasury, with the ADP payroll software, there's kickoff meeting held on March 19th, and looking probably in around that June time period to get that implemented and rolled out with respect to that. Asset management plan update. So we have engaged Public Sector Digest / Citywide to coordinate and complete this task, and we anticipate that we'll reach that target of July 2024 timeline, and also will give us what will be required for the 2025 compliance. With respect to facilities and recreation, new furnaces and AC units installed here at the hall last week. There has that remote capability. System seems to be operating well. A number of the capital projects underway with respect to the ordering of new bleachers, picnic tables, fall lights, and pool. At least the remaining portion of the pool will be starting in late April. Good attendance over the March break at both arenas for the public skating. And just a note with respect to the walking track hours starting on April 1st, will be from 7:30 a.m. to noon. The final note under that portion will be Earth Day. So had staff attend a meeting last week with respect to the Earth Day preparations. So we will be working with the businesses within the industrial park to clean up some designated roadways and ditches in and around that area. Operations with respect to public works over this time period. So there was one operation event prior to this weekend, so we'll make that 2 operation events during that month. Also within the last month, there was a meeting held with representatives from MTO, OPP, United Counties of Legion Brumble, and the 401-416 contractor, GIP, to look at improving some communication strategies as a result of some of the activities with the closure on February 3rd, and also in anticipation of the solar eclipse on the horizon on April 8th. Operations Environmental Services, just a note that Greenfield will be shutting down for their spring maintenance activities between April 7th and April 10th. There's been some work completed on the Spencerville wastewater system with respect to manhole rehabilitation work, and from all accounts, there is a substantial difference from prior to the work and post work with respect to helping with that infiltration end of it. Fire department, I guess, just in a couple of notes here in the other section, which is just the second annual food drive with the fire departments of Prescott and Augusta. And that was a very successful day of collecting food items and also donations. And I guess the last one to note would be the family night hockey game and skills competition with OPP and EMS. And I believe that fire certainly performed well in comparison to OPP and EMS, but I guess we're probably biased in that regard. And the family pancake breakfast is scheduled at Station 1 in Spencerville for Saturday, April 27th. I guess under emergency management, just in preparation for the solar eclipse, we provided notices to our fuel and food service providers within the township. Coordinated with the town of Prescott and Township of Augusta for radio ads with respect to planning ahead and road and safety in regard to that. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I will turn it back over to you if there's any other questions.
Did I get? Okay, so Deputy Mayor, any questions on the report?
I just had that one, and our CEO nodded the OP amendment means that we can now go on 1 acre lots in the rural area. Is that right?
And that would also bring in the zoning bylaw amendment with respect to the frontage reduction.
This front.
With the front of Republic, right? Thank you. I'm so happy to get that officially done. Thank you.
Well, that was happy news too. I'm happy to hear that on April 29th, we're moving back to home, maybe. Well, this is home too. It's our new home, I guess. Happy to go back to Spencerville for our town meetings going forward at roughly that time, subject to no delays, obviously.
So through the mayor, yes, a very high probability that we will be back there. One of the items that we're in sort of some transition with respect to the flooring at the office, so we will be transitioning some staff into the council chamber part temporarily. So we didn't want to try to coordinate all of that and sort of reinstitute the council chamber. So we should be in good shape for that end of April. We won't have the full system up and running, but we certainly will be operational at that stage.
How exciting.
Exactly. There's that. And yeah, I've seen the shelving going on, so I can appreciate staff's patience with the CAO as well. I'm moving everybody around all the time, but have to happen, and I think it'll be a good end result. Just wanted to note good to see that the fire department had well, not 27 children, but 27 people visit them. That was great to see that as well. And on the solar eclipse, I'm saying it, I just in case anybody's watching our video, but it's, follow that link that's in here for sure, because it's really informative. It really tells you, it gives you a good picture of what to do and everything else, and I hope everybody prepares. I hope we prepare as well on the township side from staff as well, because, it can be good, but it can also be risky, and then just make sure everybody's safe about that, so. There you go.
Yep, go ahead.
Alright, Mr. CEO, I wonder if you can help me, vacant captain position, is that in Station 2 in Cardinal or Station 1 in Spencerville?
Through the mayor, that is, in, Station 2 in Cardinal.
Okay, thank you.
And Free Tree Day. So I think I've gone on, I've clicked the link, takes you to South Nation, and you sign up for seedlings, not trees, right?
Correct.
Yeah, nobody's getting, we don't have any large trees this year, there's nothing potted, they're just.
I don't believe that there are any, potted, trees this year. They are.
I didn't see the option for that when I went on and had a look. I went through as far as I could go without committing, but I didn't see the option to get into the bigger stuff, just.
Correct.
Just the small ones,
It
but-
is just seedlings.
And have we shared that on social media yet, or is there a plan to want to, so we can get? Lots of trees planted.
I'm not 100% sure if we have that on there, but we certainly. Sure.
That's it for me, was just those, so, guys, you good? Yeah. Okay, then, all in favor on the CAO report as presented? Okay, and I think it's probably, for Deputy Mayor, Councillor inquiries and notices motion, inquiries and notices, please.
I just had one little inquiry, and that was, we participated, I think, all of ours, yesterday. So for Mr. Martel, he's on holidays, but at the Legion Spencerville, had a great time, pie in the face, loved it. I think we generated, I was talking to Holly today, $3,000, so it was well worth it. Had a great time.
Yeah, thanks to the.
Well
chief.
done.
Thanks to the
Much
chief
good business.
for,
Yeah,
chief came out.
chief came out and all of our councils, except for Joe, like I said, was on holiday, so it was well rounded, well participated.
OPP officer.
Mr. Council, Constable Council was there, yeah. So, and the mayor from Prescott, so it was well done, everything was well done, and I'm glad that we could participate and help the Spencerville Business Association.
I can say we bought Abby McIntyre's cheesecake, cherry cheesecake, and while I don't love cherries, I pushed them to the side. It was fantastic cheesecake too. So to all of there were a lot of baked goods there that looked fantastic, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yep. So it was well done. Yeah. Chris, anything?
You'll probably get to it, so I'll leave it there. Nope, that's fine. Better group.
Well, I like that. You got
Oh,
what
no, I
you said.
just wanted to give a thanks to Wendy and the
Yeah, absolutely.
in our building department. They did a great job of presenting the township in and adding build onto our slogans, and they had lots of people coming out there. It was a great presentation. They had Lego, kids could build Lego there and everything, and they really just talked about the township, and I think they did a fabulous job, so I wanted to thank them.
Yeah, I will, I won't bother my mayors, I'll just say it right now, I would echo those comments of, the LG approved altogether was well done, but I thought, Wendy did an exceptional job getting ours together. When I was there, it was, Waddy and Roger, doing it, neither one of them playing with Lego though. I was surprised, I kind of thought maybe they'd be distracted, but, I heard it was, decently busy and that it was very productive. Well done to Wendy, so you'll pass that along to Wendy and yeah. Further? No, great. Okay, so Deputy Mayor, I think you have the mayor's report, and I do have a very small
Oh, you do?
one.
Moved by myself and second by Council Wood, and this fellow council receives the mayor's report as presented.
All right, so council doesn't know this, staff probably doesn't know it, but the CAO and I have been talking with Business View Publishing. And we recently finished and finalized an interview with a major publication, and we will be featured in an upcoming article that'll have over 1 million subscriber base to that magazine. I think is that the more to say on it than that. We don't want to leak too much, but you know.
I would say it's in draft form with some final tweaks, but you know, I would say that it shows and puts a positive light on the municipality or partnerships and with our area municipalities and agencies. So I think it's a good all around story.
Yeah, the public, so the business view publishing, it's certainly to drive investment, to drive things to our area, and it certainly will showcase us with a lot of big, you know, it'll put us up with the Orangevilles and Coburgs and, you know, a lot bigger players than what we are, where they don't usually choose small municipalities, but they certainly wanted to. And once they did the pre-interview with us, they were fascinated with our little township, and they really wanted to move us forward. So to the CEO, thank you for working with me as we move through that. It was good, and I look forward to the end result. The Augusta Mayor's Breakfast was on Friday, and both Mayor Shankar and myself were both asked to give small economic updates. I want to thank staff for, you know, putting, you know, the little not little, but the PowerPoint presentation together on short notice, you know, for me to utilize. Very helpful. And I will say that, you know, there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts right now in all three of those municipalities. There's a lot of potential being talked about. There's a lot of good news. I think April 3rd is the date that's been slated for some enormous news for the area, and I just think it's worthwhile noting that we better all have our helmets on, because it's going to get very busy very, very quickly once that deal is announced. It's going to have an enormous impact across our entire region once it's going. So to follow that up, though, we had a meeting on Friday evening with the St. Lawrence Economic Development Corridor, and it doesn't end with just that one. With that one announcement, there's, you know, a lot of moving parts and a lot of other good things coming, you know, the corridor's way. So with potential for, they're talking, you know, 1,400 construction, 1,100 jobs, and you know, Jeff's got an announcement that he talked about. I didn't reveal who it is, but he's got over 300 that have already done their agreement to purchase and sale, and they're just about finalized on another one that's like way bigger than that one. And I think they were talking about it on the radio today. That was the smaller ones over 500 million. So you know, fantastic development coming up for them, and it's certainly going to spill over both into Prescott and Edwardsburg Cardinal, and probably Elizabethtown and Brockville and the surrounding areas for sure. I guess second to last, like staff got me a scroll to present this weekend to the folks, you know, that will be attending the 50th anniversary of the Leo Boyden. So we want to congratulate Prescott, you know, on you know, the longevity of the 50th anniversary. And this year I was reading that it is they're asking all alumni to come out on that Friday night for the opening ceremony. They want to see as many alumni that have played in the tournament go, and I'll have the opportunity to present as mayor, but I'll also get to wear a shirt too, because I did get the opportunity to play in it a few years ago. I think your dad flubbed it for us.
Oh, yeah, I played it.
Yeah. Did you play?
Yeah.
Did you?
For sure. 73.
You got your shirt stuff?
No, I'm going to be out on the red carpet though.
Good, fantastic. That's awesome. Anyways, we're looking forward to that. I think the opening ceremony starts around 6:30 on Friday night. So anyone that can get out there, I encourage them to get out there and be good. And I guess lastly, before I say what I'm about to say, I just want to make sure Monday's not a holiday, correct? The municipal world.
That is correct.
It is not. So
Monday is not.
So we do have a meeting at 6:30 on Easter Monday. Correct. Okay, so next year, let's make that Tuesday instead of Monday. I think that, I see a nodding of heads around the table, so let's avoid the Monday night for all the families and keep those on to other days, even if it's not a holiday in the office. Some people still celebrate their Easter dinners that night, even if they have to work, so. I want to be as encouraging of that as we can. And last, I guess I will say to all my council members and staff, happy Easter. Yeah. Enjoy your holiday. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, and
You
with that, questions on the mayor's report?
None.
That's good. We're good. Okay, then I'll call the question on the mayor's report as presented on favor. Yes. And mayor's report question period, no questions, no media questions, nothing like that. We removed closed session, and for anybody that did look at the agenda and saw the closed session, we're missing 2 councilors tonight. We felt it was too important. We want to make sure that it has a fulsome discussion by all 5 council members. And so we moved it to next Monday, correct? Yeah. So that, and I guess that moves us to number 18, which is confirmation bylaw. Deputy Mayor, you have that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, moved by myself and second by Council Ward that the bylaw to adopt and ratify mine is dealt with the resolution be now passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2024-17.
All right, confirmation bylaw. Comments, questions, if there is, all in favor, of course, and you're on to adjourn.
Great, moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Dillabaugh. The municipal council does now adjourn at 8:12 p.m.
Non-debatable, call the question, all in favor? We are adjourned.